everyone, my name is Adar. I'm here at the Israeli District Championship, and today I'm here with Team 2231 OnyxTronix. They're gonna talk to me all about their amazing system. Dori, Ophir, and Libby gonna show me their intake subsystems, their shooter, and their programming and localization. All this on Behind the Bumpers. So, Libby, talk to me more about your intake system.
Okay, so this is our linear intake system. It consists of two teeth bars of 10mm polycarbonate plates, which in the end of it, as you can see over here, is 5mm aluminum teeth, which we added because we saw in this portion of the intake, the teeth tends to break, and so we added this aluminum part so it could have a better robust system. Okay, to the intake part. So actually we have a 3-inch roller. In the prototype we wanted a really fast linear velocity, so we used a 3-inch roller to get the balls into our system really quickly. The things that was bad about it, that we took a lot of current from the battery. So after the solo matches in Israel, we added another motor so we can help the balls to get into the robots.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AnyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AnyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at anymark.com, the AMPD AnyMark power distribution board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's anymark.com.
Moving on to our conveyor. So this is our conveyor. It's 3 rails of timing belts with silicone on them for grip. The really interesting thing about this system, it's a priority system, which means some balls will get faster than other balls. So this row over here, which is the closest to the shooter, is actually really problematic because the balls from these 2 rails come over here, and then the ball gets stuck over here. So to help with that, we added a roller over here, which is moved with bevel gears. It actually moves on knots into the shooter to the other side to prevent the balls getting stuck.
When on the season have you decided to add this roller?
Actually, in the prototyping, the first week of the season, we added it because we saw it was really inconsistent and the balls were getting stuck a lot, and with the consistency of the system would really hurt. Another thing that really helped to the system, after World Champs, we removed something that supports the entire system and replaced it with something else, because there was a really big aluminum bar over here, which really didn't help the continuity of the balls. Now it was really inconsistent. It was like 12 bells per second, but it was really inconsistent. We had a lot of stacks in the system. Removing that helped a lot with the consistency of the balls. Now we are about 11 balls per second. Moving on to our trigger. Earlier in the season, in the cut process, we saw actually that we can't do all 3 rails without changing the chassis. So actually our chassis is not a square, it's a rectangle. Another thing that helped with the rails is that the trigger is 3 rollers and not a ramp and a wheel like most teams usually do. It helped us with the ball with the 3 rails, to get the 3 rails in a row.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. Build your alliance with so many other FRC alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/FRC to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information.
Okay, really cool. So, moving on, Ophir, do you want to talk to me about your shooter system?
Sure. So, I'll talk about the turret first. Our turret is powered by 1 motor with a gear ratio of 1:55, which we did with this gear, 10 DP gear, that we manufactured in our workshop. and it really helped us to get to this ratio with this gearbox that is not really big. We also have this cable chain that, in order to keep it in place, we use the spring that always keeps it in the corner, and then it doesn't get stuck in the gears. Moving on to the shooter, our shooter has two motors that is powering the main wheel, and is also powering the two sushi rollers in the back that is helping us to create a backspin to the ball to reach a more accurate result. We also have a Kraken X44 in the back here to be able to open and close the hood. Also with the gear ratio that we did with these plates, also a 10 DP gear that we manufactured in-house that really helped us to get to this ratio.
Have you had any iterations to the turret system this year during the solo matches after Worlds?
Yeah, so actually we started with a different wheel. We had two rubber wheels, and we saw that they worn out a lot. So we switched to this one, a swerve threaded wheel that is much more comfortable to change. And it helped us a lot because we didn't change it once during the season since we switched to this one.
So it held all the matches of the solo matches and all the matches of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, between this one and this DCMP, we noticed a problem with our battery. The shooter couldn't handle the battery couldn't handle the shooter in the end of the match. So we actually increased the ratio over here, so we can shoot also from afar in the end of the game while moving and intaking at the same time.
Thank you so much. So, Dori, talk to me a bit more about your programming and localization.
I'll start with talking about the shoot on the move. At the start of the season, we wanted to shoot from every place on the field and in whichever velocity the robot is. So we implemented our shoot on the move. We wanted it to be as accurate as possible, so we made a physics model that accounts for all the forces that are applied to the ball, like the weight of the ball, the air drag force, and the Magnus effect. And using this physics model, we made a Python simulation that generates tables, a four-dimensional table that gets as an input the distance from the hub and the robot velocity, and gives us as an output the shooter RPS, the hood angle, and the turret angle. And this table only needs to be calibrated with one parameter, which we call gamma, which is the parameter for the energy loss when the ball exits the shooter. And after that, we don't need to calibrate it anymore.
So you calibrate it once every competition or once at all?
Once per robot, and then it works for all velocities, all places.
Wow.
And then it
Really impressive.
yeah. And the next thing, we saw a problem with the shooting, that the hood angle was very noisy and not smooth. So we added another layer of optimization that makes the angle more smooth, and it helped our shooting. You can see the graph before the optimization and after the optimization. It's much smoother than it was before. Next up, I'll talk about our automation. So the robot is almost fully autonomous. We did that because we wanted our driver to focus on the game strategy instead of focusing on the operation of the robot. So we made a state machine that uses the parameters from the robot surroundings and automatically decides whether to shoot or not to shoot. And it automatically knows to stop shooting in no-go zone like the climb area or the trench, and retracts the hood in order not to damage it.
So your driver is shooting on his own, or the robot is shooting on his own, or the driver has to interact
The
with
robot is shooting all, on his own. The driver only needs to drive the robot, and all the other things are done automatically.
it? Wow.
Okay, and another automation that we did is our active intake protection. We implemented an active torque limiting control that helps us the intake to get hits and not to be damaged, because the aggressive nature of the game, robots hit one another, so we wanted our intake to be durable and not break even when it's damaged. So we can allow the intake to be hit, and then when we notice that the thing that's blocking it moved, we can open it automatically again.
Wow.
And the last thing is our localization. We have three cameras on our robot, and the gyro. Using those, we can always know where we are in the precision of millimeters. The main one is on our turret. We always aim it to the hub and get good April tag data. But when we shoot on the move, we have to give it an offset in order to score the ball. So we have another two cameras, which help us always know where we are and shoot accurately.
Thank you so much for Team 2231 OnyxTronix for showing us this amazing system, from the linear intake to the shooter and the trigger, and for this awesome programming and automation stuff. Thank you very much, and see you again on Behind the Bumpers.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. Build your alliance with so many other FRC alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/FRC to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information. As you're getting ready for the competition season, think AndyMark as your one-stop shop for all your team needs. AndyMark's Launcher in a Box is a configurable solution that so many teams are finding success with for the rebuilt season. Also available at AndyMark.com, the AMPD AndyMark Power Distribution Board that provides 24 40-amp independently fused output channels for safe, reliable power distribution. That's AndyMark.com.